Hey guys, so this is a review of Brian's peach cobbler seedling. So this is actually the second mango that I received from him. So I did record a video of the first one which I ate, and I'll probably tack that video on to the end of this video. But when I was eating it, it was such a good mango, but I couldn't really get the flavor profile down. So after I did finish it and after I finished the video, it just kind of hit me what notes I was really getting from it. So just kind of recap for those who didn't see Brian's video. This is Brian's peach cobbler seedling. It's about a 5-6-year-old tree. It set fruit for the first time last year, and this year was this year was pretty loaded, but this year was like he was saying the quality of the fruit on this was so much better. My guess, if anyone's familiar with peach cobbler does not develop any kind of, barely like any kind of like yellowing. And this one, if you see what I picked, when this was picked, it was like dark, pretty much green. And for a couple of days, for about 7 days, 6 days maybe, it was still pretty green. I was like, oh man, I didn't think it was gonna turn, just because there was like, I thought might have been still picked too early because there was no aroma, the color wasn't breaking. And then all of a sudden in the last couple of days, so it's been 9 days since it's picked, it started developing this nice yellow coloring on it. It's a very pretty color. I'm sure if I leave this a few more days, it would get even more deeper yellow and with a little bit of blush, but that might be a bit too ripe by then. But I'm kind of getting off track right now. I'll tack on the other video, you see the color on the other one, which is really nice. That one kind of turned yellow on the tree, but it's good to know that this can be picked green and still kind of have this nice kind of yellowing when it gets ripe. So my guess on this is because peach cobbler is a green mango, it doesn't have much of a coloring at all. In addition to that, peach cobbler has edible skin. Per Brian, like the skin's like, never bitter, it's edible. This has very bitter skin. And bitter skin, most of the time I associate that with the Thai mangoes. Lots of the Thai mangoes has bitter skin. Maha Chinook has a very bitter skin. I never had Okrung, and Brian couldn't remember if Okrung had bitter skin, but those are probably the only two varieties in his yard that I know of that would have the genetics for bitter skin. So because of that, and because of this nice kind of coloring too, my guess is that this is a Maha peach cobbler cross. It's a seedling from his own tree, and he planted it, and a flavor profile I caught at the end, which kind of took me a long time to figure out what it was that reminded me of Maha. And now I know. Let's see, I'm gonna cut this open again, taste it, and see if I could still taste that note that I tasted in my earlier review of the mango. And again, I'll tack that video onto the ones after this. It's kind of nice just kind of see the coloring. I tried my best to describe it, but there was a lot of kind of flavor I couldn't really capture until afterwards. The notes kind of hit me. Okay. Okay, very juicy mango, very fiberless, nice orange flesh, very nice orange flesh, very juicy, has like a creamy texture to it. And I'm going to taste this. Let's see, I'm going to cut this and taste it and see how it goes. I am not going to eat the skin because the skin is very bitter. That's so good. That's so good. So it tastes just like the first mango I had, except probably even a bit more sweeter on this one. And the flavor, I'm going to describe the flavor profile to you guys on this. This reminds me of a, like if you take an orange popsicle, and it took me a while to get what was that last part of it that reminded me. It kind of reminded me a little bit of a Thai mango, but it was like the flavor wasn't like a Thai mango, but there was a part of it that reminded me of it. It took me some time to kind of get an idea of what it was, and that was the honey aspect of like what a lot of Thai mangoes has. So a lot of Thai mangoes has that strong kind of honey aspect to it. So this, what this tastes like to me is, you take a orange popsicle, you know, like a frozen like orange popsicle that you get, not the ones with kind of like dairy or anything like that, but just like an orange popsicle, you know, drizzle some honey on it, and then add a little bit of kind of like a stone fruits, maybe there's a bit of peach or plums on it, and that's what it tastes like to me. And that honey aspect of it was on my first review, where I knew it might, something about it reminded me of a Thai mango, but I didn't know what, couldn't really pinpoint what it was, and that's what it was, that strong honey acid component to it. So this mango is intensely sweet. It is very sweet. It's probably, gosh man, this might be the one of the sweetest mangoes I have had in the last couple years, and it couldn't even be the most sweetest mangoes I've had. Along with being very sweet, it has a strong sub-acid note to it that makes it kind of, because of that strong sweetness and the strong sub-acid kind of strong tartness to it. It's almost like an orange, you know, an orange popsicle. That's the flavor it tastes like to me. And then you drizzle it, like finish it off with a bit of honey. I'm getting a little bit more of the first time I tasted this, the first fruit I tasted, it didn't have what I was trying to distinguish between some of the Gary citrus notes versus like a lemon zest, PPK, orange sherbet kind of flavors. You know, people have always told me that they could tell the difference between the two. I didn't really know what to talk about. But with this, I think what it is some of the Gary citrus, it's more like it doesn't have like that kind of almost the whole flesh is creamy, it's creamy, but it doesn't have like that little bit of dairy kind of component that sometimes you kind of get with the lemon zest and the PPK. I haven't had orange sherbet, but like a lemon zest and PPK, you kind of maybe get a little bit of that dairy component. This is more straight up like an orange popsicle. And how does this compare like to a peach cobbler? So peach cobbler, I remember had strong kind of tangerine notes to it, but that was not like it was like a large component of the flavor profile, but it wasn't like the entire, like most of the flavor profile. This is like a strong like orange taste to it. It's like an orange popsicle. That's how strong it is. You know, maybe like 80% orange popsicle with like 15% like peaches and stone fruit plums or whatever it is, and then that kind of like finish of honey that you get from like a Thai mango. So this is an excellent mango. The other thing that makes me kind of feel like for certain that it is a Maha cross is that peach cobbler is a polyembryonic variety. The seed on this has been a monoembryonic seed, which is kind of a bit of a bummer. I was hoping that it was a polyembryonic seed. It's like one that, oh man, you'd love to kind of pass around and get people to really grow more of get people to grow this one. Imagine this, a cross between a peach cobbler and a maha. It has a strong orangey taste and has like the disease resistance of a maha. Maha does really well here, but maha has a good flavor. It's not like an excellent flavor. This is an excellent flavor. So that's why I'm pretty confident that this has to be a maha cross due to the astringent skin, the kind of honey Thai component you get at the finish, and the monoembryonic seed. Maha is one of the few Thai varieties that has a monoembryonic seed, or maybe the only one, just because Maha Chinook is a cross between a Thai mango and a Florida mango. Yeah, this is such an amazingly good mango. The more I ate it, the more I'm like kind of wowed by it. When I initially had the first taste, it was like, wow, it was pretty good. But like after eating a few more bites of it, it's just an amazing mango. And I love citrus tasting mango. And like I said, the only flaw I could think about this mango is that the skin is bitter. It's a bitter skin, so you cannot eat the skin. But so far, like I've been scraping the skin. And there's no bitterness that gets picked up from it. It's not until you eat the skin then you get the bitterness. Very, very good texture. It's just like more kind of like towards that creamy kind of like some of the Indian mangoes. It's not like the Thai mangoes where it's a bit more firm and anything like that. This is definitely like a creamy textured mango, which is what I prefer on like these ripe mangoes. It has a very nice aroma to it. A peach cobbler, again, is a variety that doesn't develop any kind of strong coloring or aroma to it. So the fact that this has a strong aroma to it, kind of shows it. Shows you that it was crossed with something with a strong aroma, and maha has a very nice strong aroma to it. And it reminds me a bit of a maha aroma. And again, I'm always trying to compare what I think the two parents is. The peach cobbler, I remember peach cobbler have a stronger zest. When I peeled peach cobbler, right? When I peeled the skin on peach cobbler, it had this strong citrus zest to it. This doesn't really have that citrus zest when you peel it or anything like that, but a strong orange flavor to it. I would say this is as good or better as any of the citrus flavored mangoes out there. Okay, so I mean, Brian, when you're watching this, you got a real winner here, and hopefully you end up picking a name, like deciding on a name for this, because it is an excellent mango. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it for this review. I would tack on the first review onto at the end of this video, so you guys can kind of see as I kind of fumble around the flavor profile on that, trying to get an idea of what it reminds me of. But again, this reminds me of, like I said, like an orange popsicle, drizzled with a bit of honey, and you get some of those kind of stone fruits flavoring in it. That's what it reminded me. And the honey aspect of it was the part that took me a bit of a time to pinpoint down, something that reminded me of a Thai mango. Very, very good mango. This is an awesome flavored mango. Okay, well, thanks everyone. If you guys want to see me talk or see more of the fruit, just kind of stick around until the next section of this video ends. All right, guys. Thanks everyone. And this first half of the review is the review of Brian's kind of amazing peach cobbler seedling. So hi everyone, this is a review of my friend's Brian's peach cobbler seedling. So there's two of them right here. This one's ripe and this one's still green. And this was picked Saturday. And I was intending to kind of get to it that day, or at least Sunday, but unfortunately I didn't. So it's been a couple of days since then. So hopefully it hasn't gotten overripe. It's it gives, but it's not like squishy. So I don't think it's overripe yet. But Brian did tell me to kind of eat it that day, so I'm a couple of days late. But this is a peach cobbler seedling, and versus the peach cobbler, this one has a nice color break, like nice color on it, almost yellow, and it has this like kind of orange blush that I think if you have it kind of in direct sunlight, if it got more sunlight exposure, it might be like a red blush, who knows. So this is very interesting. It's has a nice yellow color, and if you guys ever had peach cobbler does not have any kind of like, barely any kind of like coloring on it. It's more like this, maybe you get like a splotchy dirty yellow. It's kind of more just a solid green. So this is another one of Brian's seedlings, so I'm hoping this one ripens in the next week or so. But this one's definitely ripe now, and we're gonna definitely try it. So a little bit story about Brian's tree is that this is from seeds in his own yard. So he's been growing peach cobbler for quite some time, and this tree is like 5 to 6 years old. So interesting about seedling grown trees, mango trees in California, unlike the tropics, it could bloom and fruit between 3 and like 7 years old at the most. So this tree was 5 to 6 years old, and it bloomed and fruited, and it's setting quite a bit of fruit this year. So if you guys are into experiment with seedlings, I do recommend that you try out some really nice name kind of cultivars and see what comes up with it. Brian's been doing it for much longer than a lot of us, so a lot of his seedlings are really coming into production right now. Some of my seedlings of kind of name premium varieties and stuff like that, to see what it produces, I only been planting it the last year or so, and his has been in the ground for like at least 5-6 years. So we'll see how this goes. Let me see how this goes, and let me see how this compared to a regular peach cobbler. It's been a few years since I had a regular peach cobbler, so I don't really remember much about it, except that it had a strong citrus component. When we sliced into a peach cobbler, it had a strong like tangerine citrus to it, just from peeling the peel. So I wonder if this has it, but let's see. So here we go. Let's slice this open. Nice coloring on it, like a deep, like a orangey color to this. Very, very pretty. Very juicy already. try. I am gonna go ahead, slice some of this. So I'm trying it with the skin, and it has a very bitter skin. I don't remember peach cobbler having that strong of bitterness to the skin. I remember peach cobbler just having a very like slight, maybe a slight even astringency to it, but nothing like this. This one is pretty pretty astringent and bitter. Nothing I would recommend to eat. What I'm doing right now is kind of cutting the peel a bit. I'm trying to see if it has the citrus smell that I remember that peach cobbler had. Interestingly enough, it does not have that as strong as a citrus component that the peach cobbler have in the skin, where kind of like where I was peeling it and it smelled like tangerine. So this is a really good flavor, very juicy, very sweet, and has a lot of sweetness to it along with sub-acid flavor. It reminds me of a kind of mixture of like a classic mango with some orange in it, and a bit of a maha component to it. Very interesting. This is very good. The sweetness is off the chart, but it's not like a sickly sweet. It's like intensely sweet with like a sub-acid component to it from the kind of orangey and kind of classic, kind of maybe a bit of stone fruit flavors in it. But it reminds me a little bit of a maha, just like on kind of like on a finish and stuff. So this is really good. I mean, if you could get a quality fruit like this from a Seedling, oh my gosh, you gotta have to definitely go for it. Hopefully, Brian, I hope he gives this fruit a name. I'm gonna save this half of this for my wife. But if I was to guess what this fruit is, I think it has to be. So Brian does not have a lot of like what I would call like very kind of colorful fruits in his yard. And most of his varieties, except for say maha, possibly okra, it doesn't have a strong astringency to the skin. Most of his varieties are edible skin. So the fact that this has a very bitter skin, the bitterness in the skin reminds me of a Thai mango that has it. So like it must have gotten that from like either the maha or the okra. And due to the coloring on this, like it has this really nice yellowing, and I think if this was like had a bit more sun exposure, I think it would be reddish. I mean, my wild guess on this is that this must be like a peach cobbler maha hybrid. That's what I would think, but it's a pretty wild guess, you know. I mean, it could just be anything else, but that would be my definitely my guess on this. Yeah, very strong sweetness, orangey mix with some stone fruits like peaches. I think it's a bit of the finish and the type of sweetness that this is that kind of reminds me a bit of a maha, but not like raw maha, but just reminds me a little bit of it. Very good, very good. So, very great seedling, Brian. So I hope you decide to name this. Give it a name in the future. Think about one, but it is a really good, really good fruit. I think for those who love like a little bit of complexity in the mangoes, you know, the intensity of this one is really sweet too. Very sweet fruit. Mixture of orange, mixture of peaches, a little bit of the maha. I think I got the bit of the maha, kind of that classic Florida kind of smell that you get sometimes when you're smelling the fruit. So maybe that's what it is, and then a kind of little bit of the finish of it. All right. Well, everyone, thanks for checking this out. You know, I'm gonna save the half of this for my wife. Let's see what she thinks of it. Very juicy fruit. And then I have this green one that will probably maybe ripen in within a week, and we'll see how it goes. You know, but right now I'm just calling this Brian's peach cobbler seedling. Very juicy, excellent fruit. Okay, awesome job, Brian. So I'm looking forward to I was able to, he shared a few scions with me and I grafted them, and hopefully it takes, and looking forward to see what it does in my yard. All right, thanks everyone, till next time. Just me finishing off the rest of this mango, finishing off the rest of this amazing mango. Some strong subacid notes near the skin. very small flat seed. Okay,